You're listening to the Naptime Empires Podcast with my mom, Nikki Elledge Brown. Mom, your show's on.
Thanks, bud. I got it from here. Welcome to the Naptime Empires Podcast, refreshingly honest conversations on the realities of parenthood and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Nikki Elledge Brown. Let's get started. Last week was career day for my little man's pre-K class. And when I saw the email a few weeks ago, I remember thinking, well, shoot, I don't even know what I want to be when I grow up. So how am I going to help my 5-year-old pick something in the next 5 days? And it was funny because it was like, okay, we drew these pictures at school, and the email was just to encourage us parents to talk to our little ones about it, which I'm all about. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about career day. I think it's great to encourage them to dream and to vision and think about, well, what do they want to do when they're older? But it just really made me realize that I wanted to emphasize to Bryson, you can change your mind, basically. I'm like, okay, we'll pick something that you want to be for career day, but that doesn't mean that's what you have to be for your whole life. Granted, some people know very early on, and that's true, and that stays with them, and that's fine and valid. But I sure do know a whole lot of grown-ups who have had a whole bunch of different careers, and so I just wanted to make sure that he knew that was an option. I also wanted to make sure he knew that being an entrepreneur or having his own business would be an option, because in the little booklet that he brought home, it was like a menu, basically, and when you went to career day, of course, they were all so freaking precious. There were lots of firefighters, teachers, doctors, again, all ridiculously valuable, key to society functioning, and I'm very thankful for all of those, especially the public servant kind of roles. But there wasn't even just like one page that had, business owner. I don't even know what the business owner would look like. To be honest, if we had a Naptime Empires business owner, it would be like messy bun, workout clothes, even if you haven't worked out in them. We'll add bunny slippers in there for Naptime Empires effect. Anyway, you get what I'm saying here? I think we should maybe reframe the question that we're asking for career day. And instead of talking about what do you want to be, let's think about who do you want to be when you grow up. And this is something that not just 5-year-olds should consider, but grown-ups. Air quotes, grown-ups should also consider. Because I wanted to look back and think, and I looked this up. On my old blog that I had before I started my business, I told this story in a blog post called Dreaming Big, Who's With Me? And I told the story how I went back to my church in my hometown, first year of college, I believe, and I was with a bunch of high school classmates, and they said, what do you want to be? What are your goals? That kind of thing. So it was a lot of, I want to travel the world, I want to be a teacher, become a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing that came to my mind was, I want to be happy. So that was my answer. And then I started to think, in this blog post, I recorded it, which is like a time capsule, because I said I never really had one dream job or career path, but several. At one point or another, in no particular order, I wanted to be a news anchor, a TV host, a college professor, a mom, a counselor, a published author, a fundraiser, a professional speaker, and a professional organizer. Now, I don't know about the professional organizer, although I do love having an organized home. I literally just decluttered my closet today, but we all know digital clutter is still a legit problem for me. But I love looking back at this paragraph and realizing I can be all of those things through my business. In terms of a news anchor and TV host, that's like Facebook Live or any videos that I'm doing. I can be talking about whatever I want to talk about. That's something I can totally do. College professor, yeah, I legit was a college professor. And I also now have my own online course. Check. Mom, check. Counselor, heck yeah. I have biz buddies, and that I'm a friend-tor to many people where I get to just reflect back, listen, ask how they feel about that. A guidance counselor role, published author. Okay, yes, I do have some actual, published author, even though I haven't written my first book yet. I certainly will, and I used to think I had to have a PhD to be able to write a book. I think I talked about that in my Divine Breadcrumbs episode, but I used to think I had to have a PhD. Now I know I don't, because I know a whole lot of people who just write books because they get over themselves and actually do it. And I'm very inspired by that. And I'm definitely going to do that as well. A fundraiser, again, yes. I have given huge chunks of money to causes that I believe in because of my business. Fundraising, check. Professional speaker, yes, check. I have been paid to speak. I have had many cool opportunities to speak. I regret not volunteering to speak at Career Day because I feel like that would have been really cool to talk to a bunch of 5-year-olds and describe what I do. By the way, pause, Zach Morris style timeout. If you do want to take one communication tidbit from this, let's think about what you would say to a group of 5-year-olds if you had to describe what you do in your business, right? I think that's a worthwhile challenge. So obviously Bryson's not going to be 5 forever, but whenever he has another Career Day option, something like this coming up, I promise to you and me, I'm going to do everything that I can to be able to go speak to them. Because I think it would have been really cool to go and present another option to be like, you know, I'm able to help people. I try to describe it. Bryson just says, like, at this point, I build a website. Which I don't. I've never built my own website. That's the first thing I ever delegated was the web development. But I say that I help other business owners reach the right customers and clients, you know, which again sounds really kind of, it's important, right? But it doesn't nearly capture like attracting their dream clients. But then if I want to describe the podcast, then I help other moms and dads who are building their businesses while their little ones are little stay sane. I mean, that's the benefit. But anyway, I digress. Just a sidebar. That would be a fun exercise to think about. How would you describe what you do to a group of 5-year-olds? So I was on a tangent, but public speaking. I'm going to speak at a Career Day again, and to kiddos, but also to other adults. I feel like it's just important that we share the work that we do. It's very easy for me to feel like a total weirdo and very socially awkward whenever I'm around other parents, just because I feel like what we do is sometimes hard to explain. And we had a buddy's birthday party the other weekend, and the moms were asking about the podcast, and one of the dads, who's probably listening, was asking about the podcast. And I was just like, I hope everybody knows you can just start a podcast if you want to start a podcast. You know, I mean, there's certain steps, but it's not like anyone has specially selected me to say, hey, Nikki, you want to host a podcast? I chose myself to host this podcast. But I feel like it's easy for people to then think like, oh, that's something cool I could never do. And I feel like that's part of why we need to keep talking about what we're doing, so that not only are we presenting options to the little ones around us, but also the other grown-ups who may be doing something that they don't love very much, or maybe they're missing out on some kind of creative expression opportunity, or they have a special skill set that they're not using, and they don't even realize that there could be a way that they could create a business around it from home on their own time and on their own terms. So I feel like we all need to do each other a service and talk more about what the F we do. Okay, that was that. Professional speaker, again, professional organizer, I don't even know. I do remember watching a show with that guy with the glasses who used to be like on Oprah. And I want to say he's Australian or something. But anyway, I do remember the time when I wanted to be a professional organizer. The point is, this is really cool to look at and be like, wow, I'm not the 5-year-old looking forward to the grown-up to say, here's what I want to be. I'm the grown-up looking back to the 5-year-old to check my work and be like, wait, what did we want to be when we grew up? Okay, right. Yes. Let me make sure I include all of those elements in. And so I feel like somehow we meet in the middle, because basically what I was originally thinking when I did fully record this podcast episode, but just didn't love it enough to publish it, I was saying that maybe we need to not have them choose just one thing. But I do think there's value in that. You don't want to overwhelm them and then they have no idea where to start. That's why I have recipes and a course about copy, because that blank page can be really overwhelming. So it is good to have one place to start. But I do feel like we just want to kind of open it up a bit and to say, what is it that you love to do now? And then what are the things that you could do as a grown-up that would achieve that for you? You know, like I loved the attention, the idea of speaking, which was the news anchor and the TV host. I loved the teaching part and playing school and being a student. So that was always important to me. I knew I always wanted to be a mom. I loved the counselor part, like with my friends. I loved when they would come to me and ask for advice. I loved writing stories. I loved service trips and projects and that kind of thing. And even in college, like that was my role in our sorority, was the fundraising and the philanthropy vice president. Like these are those, again, I've talked about this before, the divine breadcrumbs, but that's what I want to think about, is just flipping back to career day and encouraging you, the grown-up, one, to present more options to the little ones in your life, but two, as the grown-up, look back at little you. What did she want to be when she grew up? Or what did he want to be? If you're one of my dudes who listens in, what did that 5-year-old you want to be? And how can you incorporate that? And not just 5-year-old, but 10-year-old and 15-year-old and 20-year-old. Before you were afraid and thought, I can only do what's going to make me money. And if you filtered everything through the money lens, before you did that, before that started happening, what did you want to do? Who did you want to be? And how can you incorporate more of that into what you're for real doing? Like, this is so cool. I love looking back at this blog post and seeing this list that 4 years ago me made. And I wish I scrolled down to the very bottom of it, because this is where I was just saying, like, okay, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to create a website. Let me read something to you from here. Here's what's going on. I'm going to start a new website at my own domain. Not a mommy blog, not a total business blog, but a fusion of the two. Hello, Naptime Empires. I was talking about you 4 years ago. Okay, let me see here. Down here, I said, even though I feel like this is the right thing to do, I know it's not going to be easy. I know I'll doubt myself along the way. Not all the feedback I receive will be sent via butterflies traveling over the rainbow, and that's okay. When all is said and done, I want to use the gifts and talents God has given me to make life better for the people I get to do life with. If I can find a way to help support my family by doing that, well, I'd be living the dream. And that makes me teary, because this is happening. This is me living the dream, according to 2013 me. This is really cool. So, that's all I want to do in this episode, in this conversation, is to just kind of spark for fun, but for real, for life, like your life depended on it. Really, go back and think about, what was it when you were little that you used to love to do? Take advice from career day you, who was dressing up and really excited. And what was it about that job? Like, for example, if Preston's firefighter, like, what is it about the firefighter job that he really loved? That doesn't necessarily need to be firefighter to be able to fulfill that core desired feeling style, Danielle Laporte. And I'll link to her book below. I say that like you're reading right now. You're listening to a podcast. So on the show notes at naptimeempires.com, I will link to it. But like, what was it? Is it adventure? Is it service? You know, is it the manual, like actually doing something with your hands kind of piece? Like, what is it that you actually love about that? What was it that 5-year-old you was really excited about? 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old, 13-year-old, whoever you want to go back to, make that list, write out that list of all the various things that you wanted to do. And I just want to encourage you to think about, how can you incorporate that into your life? Whether it's in your business or not, I do feel like a lot of times, again, we just filter stuff out, and it's like, well, if it can't make money, then I can't spend my time doing that. And that's bull honky. So I'd like to call us out on that. If it's something fun that you wanted to do, like maybe you used to love to play volleyball, Nikki, then you can find ways to incorporate that into your life. And it doesn't even have to be part of your business at all, but it's just part of you. It's part of you, and maybe you've let it atrophy for a little while, but it's still there. It's still part of you. And I'm really excited to hear what it is that you're going to bring back, or maybe that you already are incorporating and you can just dial it up so that you can be that grown up of your dreams, literally. That's that. I hope this was helpful to you and to little you and to the little ones running around you at the moment. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope to carry on this conversation at the playground with you, and I'll see you next time.
This show may be over, but the conversation is just beginning. Head on over to naptimeempires.com/Facebook so you can join my free... Wait, did I say free? I meant priceless, rapidly growing community of Naptime Empire builders for deeper discussions, behind-the-scenes scoop, and of course, updates whenever I've got new stuff coming up for you. naptimeempires.com/Facebook. See you there.
See you next time. Thanks for listening.